Namaste students, my name is Mahesh DS. Today I'll be explaining you the concept of charge. Namaste one and all. So let us study the concept charge. So as you all know, charge is a property of a mass by which it can experience force in electric and magnetic field. So everything around us is a matter, that is it's in form of gas, liquid, solid or plasma state. So all these things which we can touch, hear, smell, taste, everything is made up of matter. And even the microscopic things which we cannot see with our eyes is also made up of matter. The smallest building of this matter is the atom. So even our body is made up of atoms because the body is made up of organ, and these organs are made up of cells, and the cells are made up of atoms. So what we can say is that everything is made up of atoms. So look over here. So our body is made up of different elements like oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, calcium and different other elements. So the symbols for these elements are given over here and their percentage is given over here. So our body is made up of 3% of nitrogen, 10% of hydrogen, 18% of carbon and remaining 65% of oxygen. So let us consider any one element among this. So here I am considering sodium element. So the symbol for sodium element is Na. So this is the sodium element. So this sodium element is made up of sodium atoms. So this sodium atoms still further consists of smaller particles called as protons, neutrons and electrons. So since this occupies space, so this consists of mass. So here there are 11 protons, 12 neutrons and 11 electrons. So if we consider the mass of each, so the mass of proton is 1.67 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. The mass of neutron is the same as that of proton, that is 1.67 into 10 to the power minus 27, and the mass of electron is 9.11 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. So you need to remember this mass, which is very important. So as I said, this is the mass of neutron, proton and electron. So if we compare the mass of proton and neutron with electron, so the mass of electron is very less when compared to the mass of proton and neutron. So it is about 2000 times greater. So the mass of proton is 2000 times greater than that of the mass of electron. So these protons carry something called as charge, and these charges are named as positive charge. So only positive charge can be present on the proton. So since the charge is positive, we call this as protons, and since negative charge is present on electron, we call this electron as negative. So remember that only positive charge can exist on proton and only negative charge can exist on electron. So let's consider the properties of charges. There are two types of charges, as you all know. One is positive charge and the other is negative charge. The SI unit for charge is coulomb and its CGS unit is Franklin, and the dimension of this is ampere time. So the main thing which you need to remember is that charge can neither be created or not be destroyed. So here is a neutral body. So when the number of positive charges is equal to number of negative charges, the body behaves as a neutral. So here there are 3 positive charges and there are 3 negative charges. So this body is neutral. So if we consider the sodium atom over here, so there are 11 protons and 11 electrons. So this acts as a stable atom. So we can charge the body by removing the extra electron, that is valence electron, that is if we remove the negative charge, the body becomes positive, and if we add more if we remove the negative charge, the body becomes positive, and if we add extra electrons, the body becomes negative. So we can charge the body either by removing the electrons or by adding the electrons. In the other way, what we need to say is that by adding negative charges, we make the atom negative, and if we remove the negative charge, automatically it becomes positive. So look over here. So this sodium atom is stable since it has 11 protons and 11 electrons. So if we remove one electron out of it, so when I say I am removing electron, you need to assume that I am trying to remove the negative charge. So when I remove the negative charge, so only 10 electrons are remaining and 11 protons are remaining here. So since the number of positive charges, that is proton, is greater, so this becomes positively charged. So you can name this as Na plus. Look over here. So this electron is lost and this becomes vacant position. So there are 11 protons and 10 electrons. Since the number of protons are greater, the positivity is greater. So look over here. So this is your sodium ion. Sodium atom is converted to sodium ion, which is Na plus. So now you would have come to know that when the number of charges, that is positive charges, is equal to number of negative charges, it behaves as a neutral atom. So if I try to remove one negative charge, so this body becomes positively charged. If I add negative charges, this becomes negatively charged. So the next thing what you need to know that is the charge is transferable. That is, we can add or remove the negative charges. Always remember, we can add or remove only negative charges. We cannot play around positive charges. Only you can add or remove negative charges. Or you can also call that as valence electrons. The electrons which are present in the outermost orbit can be removed. So we can charge it, or what we can say is the charge is transferable. That is, we can remove only negative charges. The next thing is charge is associated with mass. So if we remove negative charge, mass also decreases, and if we add negative charge, mass of the atom increases. So the charge is associated with mass. So what I mean to say is that charge will also have some mass associated with this. So now let us consider the mass of electron and proton. So as you already know, the mass of electron is 9.11 into 10 to the power of minus 31, and the mass of proton is 1.67 into 10 to the power of minus 27 kg. So as I said you earlier, the relative mass of proton is 2000 times larger than that of electron. So look over here, the mass of proton divided by mass of electron, that gives you a value of 0.0005. That is, if we consider proton a relative mass as 1 and neutron as 1, the electron mass will be 0.0005. So what does it tell you is the mass of this proton is 2000 times the mass of the electron. Now let us know the number of charges present on electrons and protons. As I said earlier, only negative charge can be present on electron and positive charge can be present on proton. Now let us come to know how many number of these charges are present on electron and proton. So the amount of charges can be present would be equal, that is 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19. So it is given as plus 1.6 because it is positively charged, and it is given as minus 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 because it is negatively charged. So the total number of charges that is present on electron and proton is same. The negative and positive indicates that the charge is positive and the charge is negative. So now the next question is, so how many electrons are required to form 1 coulomb of charge? So we require many number of electrons to form 1 coulomb of charge. So that is, we require 6.24 into 10 to the power of 18 electrons to form only 1 coulomb of charge. So these many number of electrons, when combined together, it forms 1 coulomb of charge. So with this we have understood the relative mass of electron with respect to proton and neutrons. So it is 2000 times that of electrons. Then the charge present, total number of charge present on proton and neutron is 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19. So the sign that is negative and positive indicates that only positive charges can be present on proton and negative charges can be present on electrons. And the mass of proton and neutron is 1.67 into 10 to the power of minus 27, and that of electron is 9.11 into 10 to the power of minus 31. So thank you for listening to this concept. So to know whether you have understood this concept clearly, you need to go through the quiz. The link for the quiz is given in the description below. So try to answer that quiz. Okay, thank you for listening.